What's going on, guys? Arrival teacher in the house, and welcome back to another tier list video. This time we are looking at the HOENN Pokemon Designs, purely from a design perspective, of course. We have done Kanto and Johto already, so if you want to check those out as well, make sure you do. But while you're down early, if you enjoyed this video at any point in time, leave a like and subscribe and all that good stuff. But without any further ado, of course, we'll jump into it. Obviously, as a caveat, this is a design video, so this design is subjective. So if you disagree with my opinion, that's totally fine. Feel free to leave a comment down below what your favorite Pokemon from the HOENN region is. And let's see if I get yours in my S tier. So, as a quick reminder, S tier are my favorites, A tier is my likes, but not necessarily favorites, B I have no feelings towards, and C, I'm not a big fan of, and D, I wish was not in the game. Right then, let's start with the best place to start, of course, and that's the starters. Generally speaking, I actually like all of the starters here, even including middle stages, which is kind of surprising. Trico is kind of the exception, though. I'm not the biggest Trico fan, I don't hate it, however. Grovard is a really good evolution for a middle stage, and Sceptile I'm somewhat indifferent towards. I do, however, really like Sceptile's Mega, though. That is a big standout. Torchic is one of my favorite starter designs, but it's not my favorite in general right now. And I've just realized my cursor is being captured. My apologies, guys. Let me just amend that real quick. There we go. We are all good now. Right. Combusken is a pretty amusing design. I've colloquially coined him Dick Chicken for the longest time. For that very reason. For those who aren't sure, look at the back sprite. Blaziken I love, that's one of my favorite designs of a final starter. Even though it is humanoid, which is something that I'm not a big fan of in Pokemon, I think Blaziken is executed very well. Mudkip is a really strong starter. Marshtomp is a really good metal stage as well, and I'm a huge fan of Swampert. Swampert is a design that I really love. I think the evolution line is brilliant. And I even love its Mega even more, but it's definitely up there for me. Poochyena, I don't really have any particular feelings towards. Same with Mightyena. They're okay. As far as early Pokemon goes, they are okay. Zigzagoon is okay. Don't really have any feelings towards it. Linoon, I don't mind either. Not super high up in my list, but I don't particularly hate them. Wurmple, I don't mind. The Silcoon and Cascoon lines, I honestly don't really have too much positive feelings about these. I think the main thing that bothers me about the designs is the fact that they are, like, extremely similar. And that kind of bothers me. It feels like it would have been nice to have had them separated. Beautifly, I'm not all that much. No, I actually like Dustox, though. I like the design of it a lot more. It's a cleaner final bug stage design for me, whereas Beautifly kind of feels a little bit too much like Butterfree. Lotad is nice. I like Lotad. Lombre I wasn't a big fan of at first, so I would have put it lower down, but I actually have grown to not mind it. And Ludicolo I like. I like this design evolution line. Especially love the dancing Ludicolo in the final stage. I think they designed this evolution line with the right thoughts in mind. I just think Lombre could have been a little better. Seedot, I don't really have any affinity towards. Nuzleaf, I'm not really that big of a fan of. It's the legs for me. I don't know what it is about the legs on him, but I just don't really like it all that much. Shiftry I like, though. I like Shiftry a lot. I love the design behind it. I like the lore concept that it's based on. Makes a lot of sense to me. Tailo is a really good early bird. This is something that I think Pokemon really started to turn a corner with the early birds, because the early birds for the last couple of regions were not very good. Swallow again, like Swallow's design, much more aerodynamic, really solid pose, and definitely an obvious mature evolution for Tailo. It used to be one of my favorite Pokemon in this region, but it's kind of fallen off just a tiny bit, but it's still a Pokemon I really like. Pico, of course, decent enough, I guess. I don't mind it. Pelipper is a little bit odd to me. Even though I love Pelipper in battle, like, this massive, huge beak and this weird body shape kind of felt a little bit off-putting for me. But nonetheless, it is fine. Routes is a Pokemon I really like. Like the design of this. Curlia is fine. I don't really have any feelings towards it. It makes sense as an evolution. But it isn't really my favorite design. Gardevoir is one of my favorites, though. Again, it's like a weird one to me, because usually humanoid Pokemon I'm not a big fan of. But I think Blaziken and Gardevoir are kind of the big two exceptions to me. I think even though Gardevoir is somewhat humanoid looking, I think it's a very elegant design. And especially for a decent psychic type, I'm definitely a huge fan of it. Surskit is fine, nothing particularly special to me. Masquerain I like, though. I like the whole design behind it. I like the wings especially. Those are some of my favorite parts of its design. It's surprising because we don't really see Surskit or Masquerain all that much, and it's not really a commonly used mon. Shroomish, yeah, I used to like Shroomish more than I do now. Not a huge fan of it. Breloom I quite like. Breloom is a relatively solid design choice. Slackoff is fine. I actually quite like Slackoff a little bit. Vigoroth, I don't know. There's something about the choice of Vigoroth to me, and Slacking's an exceptional design, but I feel like Vigoroth just never fit this evolution line, to be honest. Personally, I think it's the color scheme that maybe makes me think a little bit less of it, but like, I don't hate it, I don't mind it, but it's nothing too special to me. Nenkata, not the biggest fan of it. It looks a little bit weird, kind of an odd choice for a bug design. Ninjask is fine. Shedinja is also fine. I do kind of like the interaction between Nenkata and its evolutions, but it's not really part of its design, or like its visual design per se. So it's not really that positive for me, but in terms of their actual designs, I'm somewhat indifferent towards them. Ninjask I used to like a little bit more, but I'm kind of a little bit less sold on that kind of design. Whismur, honestly, kind of trash. It just looks like it's not really based on anything. I'm not really sure what they were going for. Loudred and Exploud are a little bit nicer, but they're still not particularly great to me. Actually, you know, I don't actually hate Exploud all that much. I kind of like the sort of pipe organ style design it's got going on. Much more than the boombox of Loudred. Makuhita is fine, nothing all that special, to be honest. Hariyama's alright. Again, it's one of those sort of humanoid mons, but I think in this one it makes a bit more sense. I mean, it is a solid sumo wrestler design, but it isn't just a sumo wrestler. Like, the clothing on its body is natural looking, etc., so it does seem to be okay. Azurill felt like wasted potential, to be honest. We already had Marill and Azumarill from the previous gen. I don't really like Azurill's design at all, to be honest with you. It just feels like it's underdone and kind of like a beta version of Marill. Nosepass I'm not a big fan of. I do kind of like the lore origins on it, that it's based on a compass, that it always points north, etc. But it's not really my cup of tea. Skitty is fine. No issue with Skitty, to be honest. Don't have any love towards it either. Delcatty is fine as well. I think it's a nice evolution line, but it is quite plain, relatively simple. I don't really have any sort of good or bad feelings towards it. Sableye is a great design. Very simple gem eater. Nice little ghost type. Makes perfect sense for like a sort of gremlin-esque ghost type. Really like that one. Marwal again is another mon I'm a huge fan of. Mega Marwal would be an S tier in this list if we had Megas here. But yeah, Marwal is a great design. It's certainly off-putting for a lot of people. I can understand why people aren't fans of it. But I really like the sort of positive, cute side, and then the massive, intimidating jaw side of it, like the sort of yin and yang effect. Aron is a nice design. I like Aron's design a fair bit. Leron is a great natural evolution, and then Aggron is extremely well designed. Shoutouts to Average Gaming, of course. But yeah, massive fan of this one. I think as far as kaiju monsters go, I think this is one of the better designs. In fact, it's potentially the best designed kaiju mon outside of Rhydon. Potentially, although Tyranitar is also a pretty good fight as well. Meditite is fine. No issue with Meditite. Medicham, again, not the hugest fan of. I do like its Maga. Actually, maybe Medicham is slightly lower. It's mainly the feet and the face kind of doesn't do it for me with Medicham. but I think they patch it up quite nicely in the Mega. Electric is nice. It's a solid enough design for an electric type. Same with Manectric. I actually don't mind either of these. I think they're quite good designs, actually. They definitely very clearly convey the electric type well. So I'm here for it. Plusle and Minun, I'm not the hugest fan of these guys for Pika clones. They're actually not bad in battle, but I'm not super keen on their designs. They're a little bit too on the nose for Pika clones. They're kind of too close to Pikachu. I kind of would have liked them to have had a bit more of their own identity. Volbeat and Illumise. I guess they're fine. I don't have any particular design hates for either of them. They are obviously quite similar, which is a little bit annoying, but I don't actually mind their designs. I think they're decent enough bugs. Roselia is a favorite. I really like this design. It's kind of a weird one, because Budew and Roserade all came in the next gen, as opposed to them all being in this gen, which is a little bit surprising. But I love Roselia. Perfect grass-type design. Huge fan of the petals and the flowers that it operates with. Gulpin looks a little bit dull, to be honest. And Swallow is kind of, I don't know, very off-putting, I guess. So I think it's probably the Determon. I can just about put up with Gulpin and the idea, but the evolution just feels kind of bad. Caravana I like. I like Caravana's design a fair bit. It's much better than just a standard fish. And Sharpedo is a pretty interesting shark design. Kind of sad that its Mega didn't give him like a longer body or whatever. Whelmer, it's a standard ball whale, nothing too special. Wailord again, just like a blimp. Actually, I kind of like Wailord's design though. It's not that bad, to be honest. Charging like a massive blue whale with a blimp design, it's fine. Numel is quite cute. I like Numel a lot, and Camerupt is a pretty solid design as well. Really good evolution line for a fire ground type. Definitely makes a lot of sense. And I kind of like the fact that they paid homage to the fact that it is a camel, and then actually designed around it quite well. Torkoal is exceptional. This is definitely one of my favorite designs from Generation 3. I think it's an incredible design. I love the turtle with the volcano on its back and the way that it utilizes that. That's pretty sick. Spoink, not really that big a fan of a Spoink. And Grumpig. In terms of Nuzlocke, I've actually liked Grumpig a little bit more. I've had a couple of Grumpigs in my randomizer Nuzlocke that have been pretty good, but its design, not really my cup of tea. Spinder, I hate. I have to be honest, I hate Spinder's design. It's just weird looking. It's a rabbit that's not really that well designed, in my opinion. And obviously it's got all these millions of forms, etc., which just, I don't know. It just feels pointless to me. Trapinch I don't really mind at all. Vibrava I really quite like, though. And Flygon obviously is one of my favorites. Huge fan of Flygon's design. Obviously it's sad it's not Bug Dragon, just like most people are. But I actually really love the concept of this evolution line in general. But I think it's a natural stage that Flygon is exceptional. Cagnia. I used to like this line a fair bit more than I do now. But I feel like I'm somewhat indifferent towards them. Like a Scarecrow Cactus is a pretty decent concept, but it is a little bit too on the nose with Cacturne, so I'm somewhat indifferent towards it. Swablu is nice. I like Swablu's design a lot. Nice little cotton bird. And Altaria is a good evolution. Definitely a fan of both of those. Mega Altaria would probably be an S tier if that was on this list. Zangoose, love this guy's design. Very aggressive looking. And I love the sort of rivalry it has with Seviper. And I actually like Seviper too. Unlike Ekans and Arbok, it's a Viper that actually has design details. Which I like that a lot with this thing. And I love the sort of design concept and interaction between it and Zangoose. Lunatone and Solrock. They're not my cup of tea personally, the sort of sentient moon and sun, like rock type designs. Sorry about that, just had a nasty cough. They're okay in some people's books. In mine, kind of not really for me personally. Ah, cops always come in when you start recording. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, Barboach and Whiscash. Yeah, not really super keen on them, to be honest. They're okay, but they don't really feel like they offer too much. Plus the W, especially on Whiscash's head, kind of feels a little bit too on the nose, to be honest. Gorefish, better Krabby design. Crawdont, also better Kingler design, in my opinion. Definitely like both of these. I don't love them as much as I used to. I used to love Crawdont. But design-wise, it's kind of fallen off a little bit for me. Baltoy is kind of a sentient spinning top. No sort of up or down either way towards it. Claydol, again, the same. Although I do like Claydol's art style design. Kind of like the idea that it's got multiple different heads, the way it spins around. Leap and Cradily are kind of weird to me. I actually do quite like Cradily's design now, I gotta be honest. For a fossil Pokemon, it's different, it's unique. And I kind of like the uniqueness of it. And also, I wonder how many people, the same as me, thought the circle patterns on its head were actually its eyes, not the eyes in between where it looks like it's its mouth. That's a really cool design, to be fair. But Anorith and Armaldo are definitely better. In terms of design philosophy for fossils. Huge fan of both. Definitely like them both a lot. Fossils in this gen are like really, really decent. Feebas is ugly, but that's kind of the point. It's meant to be ugly, and it's an uglier fish. And Milotic, brilliant design. Absolute top tier. Pokemon design. It's a siren mermaid style. Pokemon that's executed brilliantly into the water type. The Castform forms I never cared for at all. To be honest with you, I feel like these are all trash. Like, I get the idea, and the idea was a cool sound choice, but I don't really like them, to be honest with you. Kecleon, I'm fine with. It's a chameleon, nothing too special about it. Shuppet is a standard ghost, no problem with that. Banette, I like the design. I like the concept behind Banette. Like this sort of abandoned doll come to life type concept. I think they executed it really nicely. Duskull, I think, is the better baby form of the ghosts. Dusclops, I like too. Really like these guys. I think ghost types in this gen kind of definitely got a lot more creative after Gengar and Mischievous. Obviously with the exception of Shuppet, but they did do a decent job with the ghosts in this particular region. Tropius, I have no sort of feelings towards, to be honest, with its design. I mean, it's okay, but it's just a banana tree with rings. Chimecho, I actually like Chimecho's design. It's just a pity it's horrendous in battle. Especially with the lengths you have to go to find it. It's definitely sad. I do love the wind chime aspect to it, though. I think it's a great design. Absol is one of my favorites. Love the design concept. Love the choice behind what they opted for him. Hugely impressive design and good choice of animal to base it on. Why not? Get this out of my face. Snorunt, somewhat indifferent towards it. Don't mind it. Glalie kind of ugly looking. Gotta be honest. I don't really get on with Glalie's design. To be honest, Spheal is adorable. Like Spheal a lot. Celio is a good evolution as well. Walrein, I kind of feel a little bit less positive towards, but I don't hate it. It's kind of a neutral design. I don't know, maybe I just wasn't expecting it. Even though I should, it does make sense that it kind of goes into that sort of Tusk element to it. But I don't know. I kind of just didn't vibe with it when I first saw it. Clamperl is kind of boring. It's literally just a clam. There's nothing to it. Hontail is kind of ugly looking. I don't mind Gorobus though. It's a little better. Still not my cup of tea personally, but it's fine. It is there. Relicanth is kind of weird looking, but that's sort of the point of it. It's supposed to be based on like a treasure map. So I actually kind of like what they went for with this. Love Disc is a little bit silly, a little bit goofy, and I'm not all that keen on it personally. Bagon I like it for the baby form of a pseudo-legendary dragon. Shelgon I wasn't super keen on. I didn't really get the idea of what they went for with this design, but Salamence is easily one of the best pseudo-dragons that we've got in Pokemon. Absolutely incredible design. Beldum, I don't really have any feelings towards. Metang, I don't have too much feelings towards either, but Metagross, I love. We have definitely got ourselves really decent pseudos in this gen. I think Metagross's design is incredible, and the way that it maneuvers around the whole intelligence theme that it went for. Absolutely top tier. Regis. I personally don't really have any feelings towards any Reggie designs. Even like the newer Regis, like Regigigas and Regieleki and Regidrago, I kind of don't have any feelings towards their designs. I do like them in battle, though. They are definitely interesting, and the concept is fine. The Latties! I like the Latties. I don't love them as much as I used to, but I kind of like the whole jet fighter plane deal. I just kind of wish there was more sort of distinguishing features between the two of them. Kyogre, god tier design. Groudon, god tier design. Rayquaza, probably my favorite Pokemon in this region. I know it's a cop-out because it's Emerald's box art legendary and all that, but I just think the Weather Trio is absolutely exceptional in terms of designs. All of them make perfect sense for what they're trying to achieve. They're all super legendary feeling to me. They all look badass when you use them. So yeah, definitely love these designs. As legendary Pokemon go, this to me is peak Pokemon design in terms of pseudo and legendary. Jirachi is nice. Has a nice design. It's not my favorite for a mythical, but I'm here for it. And Deoxys, I'm just going to put the regular form in because I actually don't really like either of them. It's a little bit too weird looking for my tastes. I understand the point of them, but I don't know. I just don't really enjoy their designs. You know what? I might as well put all four of them there. And I don't really know why the unknowns are on this list. They shouldn't be there. But yeah, we'll just close that off. But yeah, that is my design tier list for the Hoenn region. Lots of really good designs. Lots of designs I'm somewhat indifferent to that I used to love a lot more than I do now. And not too many that I don't like, to be honest. I was actually surprised myself, to be fair, when I thought about this, because I love a lot of Hoenn designs. I've always loved Gen 3. It is one of my favorite regions outside of Galar because I'm biased as I'm British. But yeah, like, I'm quite a fan of Gen 3's designs. So yeah, that is my design tier list. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay awesome. I'll catch you guys next time. Take care.